All right, today we want to look at how we can use this information given here to construct a cumulative frequency curve, all right, and how we can use our curve to answer some few questions. All right, let's see what we can do. So we have the table here with class intervals with our frequencies. So let's see. A, construct a cumulative frequency table for the distribution. Let's see how we can construct a table. So this is what we have here. First of all, we bring our marks. We create a column for the marks. That is what we see here. Then we create a column for frequency, and we can put it here. The next thing is you create a column for max legs down because we are going to use it to draw our cumulative frequency curve. Then the next one is you create a column for cumulative frequency. You also need it to draw the cumulative frequency curve. So we have 4 columns in constructing that is cumulative frequency curve. All right, let us see how we can complete the table. So our marks with the class intervals are given in the question, so we put the same thing here. Our frequency is also given in the table, so we put the same thing here. The next thing is how to get the max legs down. The max legs down is obtained from the class interval. Now, all the upper class marks, as we can see here, we are going to add 0.5 to all of them. So the 10, we add 0.5 to the 10, and that will give us 10.5. 20, you add 0.5 to the 20, and that will give us 20.5. How do we get a 0.5? We find the difference between the upper class mark here and the lower class mark, and the difference is 1. Even when you take this, you find a difference between 20 and 21, it will be 1. 30 and 31, it will be 1. That one, you divide it by 2, which will give you 0.5. So the 0.5 is constant throughout. So you are going to add your 0.5 to all the upper class mark, as we can see here, and that is how we can do to get our max legs down. So here we add 0.5 to 90, and that will give us 90.5. Let us see how we can get our cumulative frequency. Cumulative means you add, sum. So we are going to sum all the frequencies. So our first frequency that we had here is 1. So we represent our 1 here. So how do we get our next cumulative frequency number? So your 1 that you get, you are going to add it to the next number on the frequency inside the frequency table. So 1 plus 3 will give us 4. All right, how do we get a 9? You add 4 to 5, and that will give you 9. How do you get this? 9 plus, that is 9 plus 8 will give you 17. 17 plus 12 will give you 29. 29 plus 10 will give you 39. 39 plus 5 will give you 44. 44 plus 4 will give you 48, and 48 plus 2 will give you 50. So this is what or how we can do to obtain our cumulative frequency. You sum the frequencies, and we sum it in a strategic way, as I show here right now. All right, let us see how we can use our max legs down and the cumulative frequency to draw our cumulative frequency curve. All right, so the curve, we have the vertical axis and the horizontal axis. Now we break the graph here because on the horizontal part, we are not starting from the origin. It's only the vertical part that we start from the origin 0 here. All right, the vertical part. So the horizontal part, we don't start from the origin. So we break the horizontal part. We break the first, that is the first 2 centimeters. All right. Then on the vertical part here, we are going to put our cumulative frequency. So you label it cumulative frequency. Then horizontal part, you label it max legs down, as we can see here. All right. Now on the cumulative part, we are going to choose a scale, and our highest number here is 50. So the best scale for this graph will be 2 centimeters to 5 units. So we start from 0, 5, 10, 50, 20, 25, 30, 35, and up to 55. Now for our max legs down, we don't choose any scale. Whatever we have here, we are going to start with it. So we have 10.5. So up to where we break the graph, you start our 10.5 from there. So we have 10.5, 20.5, 30.5, 30.5, 50.5, 60.5, up to 90.5. So we are going to trace it against our cumulative frequency. So first of all, we have 10.5, which gives us cumulative frequency 1. So 10.5, 1 will be here. So we must learn how to read the intervals within our graph. So here, each mark will be 0.5. So we are looking for 1. So each 2 bar will give us 1. So this is 0. So 1 will be here. So we have 10.5, 1 will be here. Then we mark it. 20.5, our cumulative frequency is 4. So 20.5, we check it. This will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is here. Then we mark. 30.5, our cumulative frequency number is 9. So we mark it. 40.5, our cumulative frequency number is 17. We mark it because this is 15, 16, 17 will be here. 50.5, our cumulative frequency is 29. So we mark our 29. And 70.5, our cumulative frequency will be 44. So we mark our 44. 80.5, we are going to have, that is cumulative frequency number will be 48. So we mark our 48 as we can see. And 90.5, we are going to have 50. So we mark our 50 here. After that, we take our pencil and we join the point to obtain our curve. So this is how we can draw a cumulative frequency curve. All right, let us see how we can use this curve to answer some few questions. First of all, we have been asked to calculate our lower quarter. Our lower quarter as we can see it here. So when we come here, our lower quarter, which is, we can also call it first quarter. Our first quarter or lower quarter, the formula is given as 1/4 times summation of f, which will be equal to 1/4. When we sum the f from our table, we are getting 50. So 1/4 times 50, it will give us 12.5. So this 12.5 will go to our curve to read it. All right, we'll go to our curve to read it. So we'll go to the cumulative part and read our 12.5. So this is where 10 is. So 12.5 will be somewhere here, all right? So you trace it to the curve. Where it will cut or meet the curve, you trace it down. And when you trace it down and you calculate or read from the graph, you are going to get that is 35.5. So after the calculation, you are going to read your number on the curve. You read it on the cumulative part, then you take it to the max less than. That is where you are going to obtain your final answer. Let us look at the upper quarter. So upper quarter can also be called third quarter, and that is 3/4 times summation of f. 3/4 times 50 will give us 37.5. So we'll come here and read our 37.5. So we have 35 here. So 37.5 will be this part. So we trace it. Where it will cut the curve, we trace it down to our max less than. Then we are going to read our number here. All right. And when we read our number here, that is our upper quarter, we are going to get, that is 58.5. All right. So this is how we can get the lower quarter and the upper quarter from the graph. Now we have been asked to find the interquartile range, and interquartile range equal to upper quarter minus lower quarter. Now we need to be very careful with this. The answers that we read from our graph, that is what we are going to subtract here. So if the question asks us to calculate interquartile range, we need to first of all find the lower quarter, calculate, read it on the graph, put our answer down. The upper quarter, calculate, read it on the graph, put our answer down. Then we can find the difference, and that will give us the interquartile range. And we also have semi-interquartile range, all right, which is half multiplying the interquartile range. So again, if the ask us to find semi-interquartile range, we first of all need to find the lower quarter, upper quarter, find interquartile range. When we find the difference, we multiply it by what? By half, and that will give us 11.5. Now, the last one, the percentage of students who scored more than 66%. So what do? we go to our graph. All right, we go to our graph here. You go to your graph on the max less than, and you are going to read your 66%. So our 66% will be somewhere here. All right, so you trace it up to the graph up, you trace it to the cumulative part, and when you read here from the 40 up to here, we are going to get 42. So that 42 we are going to subtract from the total frequency. All right, the total frequency, which is our 50, and when we subtract it, we are going to get what? 8. And we are looking for percentage. So this our 8 divided by 50 multiplied by 100%, which will give us 16%. So this is how we can answer some few questions using our cumulative frequency curve. Thank you.